So get your popcorn ready because we have a pretty entertaining and busy week up ahead. The European Elite Competition returns, and I'm talking about the UEFA Champions League. This is the competition that everyone wants to be involved in. This is where the top teams all around the top European leagues go up against each other in the quest for Champions League glory and for a claim of the title European champions that currently belongs to Bayern Munich, who won the competition last year, and they will no doubt be looking to retain the trophy come 2021 in Instanbul, Turkey. And they kick off their campaign on Wednesday. Now, first and foremost, let's take a look at some of the big games that you definitely won't want to miss out this week in the UEFA Champions League. Now, on Tuesday, Dynamo Kiev go up against Juventus. Then we have Barcelona taking on Ferencvaros. Chelsea play Sevilla. Lazio taking Borussia Dortmund, while RB Leipzig play Besiktas. And Manchester United travel to France to play PSG. I think we all remember what happened the last time these two went up against each other. Manchester United pulled off the historical comeback at the Parc de France. So this time, will it be a case of revenge from the Parisians? Then on Tuesday, Wednesday, Atletico Madrid taking on Bayern Munich. Ajax play Liverpool, and then we have Real Madrid taking on Shakhtar Donetsk, while Manchester City play FC Porto. Now, all that and more coming to your screens this week, and we do have a continuation of that next week and the following week as well. But let's talk about one question that normally is on the fans' mind at the start of every Champions League season, and that is who will be crowned European champion at the end of it all. I know you've been thinking about it, and I've been thinking about it as well. And, well, with the way the 2020-21 season has gotten off in the domestic leagues, it is pretty hard to predict, because I feel like you will predict and say one team, and then come February, the team that you even have predicted may not even be in the UEFA Champions League anymore. I mean, who would have predicted Aston Villa to defeat the reigning champions by 7-2? Or Manchester United losing 6-1 to Tottenham Hotspur? Or maybe Cadiz defeating Real Madrid by 1-0? Or say that Everton on the top of the Premier League? So I think you now get a sense of where I'm going with this. It is pretty hard to come out with a concrete prediction right now, and I know it's still pretty early on in the season, but as football fans, this is like going through the motion. This is what happens at the start of every Premier League season, every Liga season, every Champions League season. And so I'm going to go on and try to give you my perspective on what I think would happen this season, or who I think will come out on top. And now I'm going to start off with Bayern Munich. Before I get to that, I think there are a few names or a few teams that always comes to fans' mind at the start of every Champions League season, and rightly so, because they have the squads with the quality of players to whereby you look at their roster and you say that these teams are heads and shoulders above everybody else. You know, you look at Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Chelsea, Inter Milan, and you look at those teams and you're like, they're heads and shoulders above everybody else. You have the players, and they are the likely contenders to be European champions. So rightly so, and those are the ones I'm going to talk about. I'm going to start off with Bayern Munich from Germany, and I believe that Bayern Munich could actually go back-to-back this season. Yes, and here's why. Now, Bayern Munich, yes, despite losing Felipe Coutinho, even Perisic, and Thiago Alcantara, they've done some pretty good recruitment. They've brought in Leroy Sané, they've brought in Roja, they brought in Douglas Costa as well to replace those players that have departed from the club. And I still do believe that Bayern Munich are still trying to replace Arjen Robben and Frank Ribery. Now, for the case of Arjen Robben, they did find a replacement for him in Serge Gnabry. Serge Gnabry has come in and filled in those shoes perfectly, and I think they were still trying to find a replacement for Frank Ribery. And now Leroy Sané has come in, and we all know what he's about when he is fully fit. And I think with more games in this Bayern Munich squad, and with him staying fit, I think they just may have found their Frank Ribery, and then they do have Douglas Costa coming in to play as a backup winger. You know, you have Kingsley Coman still in the squad, and you still have the same players, majority of the players who won the league last season still at the club. You have Robert Lewandowski, Thomas Müller, Joshua Kimmich, you have Manuel Neuer, you have the likes of Alphonso Davies, and then you have a coach with a system that gets the best out of these players, and you find a balance within the team. Every time you look at the Bayern Munich's squad or team sheet, you find balance all around the areas of the football pitch. you know. And then you have someone like Robert Lewandowski who just keeps on aging like fine wine, performing and scoring goals week in, week out. Thomas Muller, who has found his footing, just found himself and is just loving himself right now. You know, and you have Joshua Kimmich, who can fit into any midfield all around the world. And so look at Bayern Munich and what's going on around all the other teams that look as contenders for them for the UEFA Champions League, who look as competition. They look the more stable club, they look the more powerful club, and they look like the team that is going to go on and dominate yet again. They did lose a game in the Bundesliga. However, since then, they've just looked, you know, the stable team, and they look like they're going to dominate again. And I feel like they are going to dominate in the UEFA Champions League yet again. I don't want to jinx it, but from the looks of it, it is still early on. And from what I've seen, Bayern Munich could go back-to-back this season. Now, the other team coming out of Germany who could represent Germany is maybe Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund have a young squad of exciting players such as Jadon Sancho, Erling Braut Haaland, who's scoring goals for fun. You have Gio Reyna, then you have Marco Reus in there. However, I just do not feel like Borussia Dortmund are the finished article just yet. I feel like they are missing some pieces, and they're missing something that I really can't point a finger at. However, I just feel like they are inexperienced in this competition to go all the way and win the UEFA Champions League. They are young, experienced. They may go a little bit further on in the competition, but I don't see them as likely winners. So coming out of Germany, I feel like Bayern Munich are not only going to dominate in the Bundesliga, but in the Champions League as well. Then coming out of Spain, I'm not convinced by the clubs in Spain who I think would go on to win the Champions League, such as Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid. All of them have had slow starts to the season, and I feel they are in a transitional period. They have been dominating for quite some time now, and with players who were aging. You know, time was catching up to them, and now they're at a stage whereby they need to do away with the old and then bring in a whole new system and then try to go on and dominate yet again. There are teams in there in the La Liga right now this season who you're looking at like, okay, they could make this league competitive this season, and it is not down to the fact that, you know, they're catching up with them. It's just that these teams are going through a phase right now which, you know, it just aren't up to them, or I just don't see them replicating into the Champions League and helping them get the Champions League title. I don't think they can actually go on and knock Bayern Munich off their perch. So I'm not really convinced by the teams coming out of Spain this season to go on and win the UEFA Champions League. Then England, will start off with Liverpool, who had dealt with a huge blow. Virgil van Dijk being out is definitely a huge blow for them. He is one of the key players in Liverpool. That is without a shadow of a doubt. And this season, they've had their questions defensively. I think even Virgil van Dijk had his flaws defensively. But now, you've just gone out and you have Virgil van Dijk, their main defender, out for a huge chunk of time. Now there's going to be more questions about the defense. Now, I do believe that Liverpool are going to go on and qualify from the group stages. But if Virgil van Dijk is still out by the time the knockout stages come by, then it is going to be pretty hard for them, because I want to see who Jurgen Klopp is going to look at to come to bring in and replace Virgil van Dijk, and how this defense is going to shape out. But from my opinion, I don't see Liverpool going all the way without a serial defender, without a quality defender, because whoever has been playing with Virgil van Dijk has automatically been looking good. But now we're going to see how the defense does without Virgil van Dijk. With Virgil van Dijk, Liverpool are contenders. Without them, it's questionable. Manchester City, inconsistency is their problem. It seems they have lost their intimidation status. Whenever they go up against teams now know that, you know what, or they believe within themselves that we can actually go toe-to-toe against Manchester City. And speaking of inconsistency, 5-2 they lost against Leicester City, 1-1 against Leeds. They struggled to beat Arsenal, and then they were knocked out by Lyon last season in the UEFA Champions League semi-final, when we expected them to go on and, you know, win it. So I see Manchester City as, right now, they don't have that intimidation feel about them right now. Teams can actually go up against them and say, you know what, we're not going to be scared of you. We're actually going to go toe-to-toe. Now, on a good day, Manchester City are definitely going to beat anybody that they come up against. But, you know, if another team comes up and they've done their homework, which in the Champions League, you do find teams who do their homework, who are believing, and they are amongst the best teams, or one of the best teams in their leagues, then you know that it's going to be tough. It's definitely going to be tough. So if Manchester City can find some sort of consistency, something that's going to work for them over the long term, then maybe. But as of now, I just don't see these English teams going out there and knocking Bayern Munich off their perch, because Bayern Munich look well oiled all around the pitch. I'm gonna be going back to Bayern Munich and why I think that they are going to be the likely winners this season. They have the consistency, they have the players, they have the defenders. The defenders are still fully fit. Down the road, if they get injured, then maybe we'll start to question that. But as of right now, Bayern Munich look the most stable, and they got the players. Manchester United, unstable. They have no plan at all. You cannot go into a European competition with no plan at all. That is Manchester United for you. And fine, you're in the Champions League. You have the privileged rights of being in the Champions League. You have the status and stuff, but I just don't think that they are ready for the Champions League just yet. I think there's still a lot of work to be done at the club before they can be mentioned amongst the big boys yet again. Now, I think it's almost the same situation with Inter Milan, whereby they have no plan at all. They have no system that's going to get the best out of these players. Antonio Conte has bought a catalogue of players. However, getting these players to play on the same pitch and get the best out of them is a problem. You have Romelu Lukaku, you have Lautaro Martinez, who are going to get the goals for you. But what about all around the other pitch? What about in the midfield? What about in the defense? I think this is Antonio Conte's biggest challenge right now, getting a system that's going to get the best out of them. And if that doesn't happen, then I think we saw something similar against AC Milan over the weekend, whereby the players are there, but are they good enough? Do you have a system good enough to get the best out of them? And I just don't think so. I just don't think they have all the right pieces. I don't think they have all the right personnel in the right areas, and that's consequential. And if they can get that right, then maybe they can go on maybe to the semi-finals. But to win it, I don't think so. But coming out of Italy, I think Juventus have the most likely chance of at least trying to give Bayern Munich a run for their money. They have done their recruitment. They have brought in the youngsters, exciting youngsters, for the likes of Federico Chiesa. You have brought in the likes of Kulusevski. You have Winston McKennie. You have the lead who's still in the defense. So I think for the case of Juventus, they have a well-oiled team. They have the experience, and they have these young players coming in who are eager, who are looking up to these guys and are eager to learn. And if they do mash up, if Pialo can get an understanding between the young players and the older players, and of course you have Cristiano Ronaldo, Mr. Champions League, if they can create that mashup and get them to play the way he wants them to play, because we've seen the signs are there. So if they can just hit that spot, then Juventus can definitely go all the way this season. I can definitely see Juventus at least going on and maybe giving Bayern Munich a run for their money. However, I just still feel Bayern Munich are a better side, are better oiled, but Juventus can definitely go in there and they can definitely go all the way. So that's what my take is on the UEFA Champions League this season, and what the likely contenders are able to go through, or are going to go through this season, and where they stand from my perspective as the UEFA Champions League starts. Anyways, the UEFA Champions League is back. It's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top. But as of now, these are the group stages. There's still a process to be seen, and there's still football to be watched, and there is entertainment on show. So gear up.